Hey, what is up, you sexy beasts? This is Solanum-Heart, Tristan here, and I'm going to bring you a childhood story. Basically, I tell you a story about my childhood, and I'm going to be doing a combo deal. You get 2 for the price of 1, yay! So, basically, you're getting a meal deal for the childhood stories today. So I'm going to get right into it. So I'm going to talk about fake Santa. And so, basically, this is when my dad faked Santa in kind of a different way than most parents would. So, me being the, I don't know, kind of curious 8-year-old boy, make face. No, I was like, Dad, I really don't believe in Santa, but can you prove that he exists? Alright? And I was a gullible little 8-year-old, and he's like, alright, challenge accepted, basically, pretty much. So it was Christmas, right? And we had set up a video camera watching downstairs, and it was watching the tree and the milk and the cookies, and it was the best thing ever. So what my dad did is, I was like, oh sweet, I came down, you know, Christmas morning, whatever, presents under the tree. I remember getting a, one of those robot T-Rexes or whatever they're called. I don't really know exactly what they're called, but if you guys know what I'm talking about, it was green, and it was like, had its own signature on it, and I've never seen a green one before, and so I was like, damn, this is pretty sick. And because I'd wanted one of those, and they're pretty cool. They like walk around and like avoid stuff. I don't know, it's pretty basic, but back then it was really cool. And so my dad didn't show me the video for like 2 weeks, which is the like worst part ever. It's like super suspicious. So I was like, Dad, why can't you show me this, you know, video or whatever of Santa Claus, quote quote. And you know, I mean, of course he's real, right? You guys know that. And so I was he finally shows it to me like 2 weeks later, and he had edited this together, and now they look back and I'm like, wow, this is the easiest editing that I've ever seen. And back then I kind of fell for it. I was like, oh well, that makes sense, you know, he has to go to all these houses, it's logical. And so what my dad did was he cut out the entire time that they were down there putting the gifts and drinking the milk and eating the cookies or whatever. So in the video, it went from nothing, 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 and then all of a sudden the milk was drained, the cookies were eaten, and some presents were under the tree. And I was like, damn, that's pretty good, but I was like very suspicious at the time. Now, I did end up believing it at the time. Like I said, I was very gullible, 8 years old. But then, I don't know, a few weeks, a few months, I don't remember. A little bit later, I realized, like, seriously? Like, oh my god, this is like the most obvious thing ever. Of course it's not real. And so that was the time my dad faked me out of Christmas, or not faked me out of Christmas, but faked me out of Santa. I mean, I know he's real today. And I'm talking about the PSP scam. So basically, when I was about 8 or 9, I had a PS2. My brother and I owned a PS2, and we had a bunch of games for it, and we wanted to sell it. I don't know. He wanted to buy something. Like he wanted to buy like a telescope, because he was really interested in like space and stuff at the time, which he still is. And I wanted to buy a PSP, so I was getting sick of the PS2, which I used to love, man. It was sick, like Sly Cooper and like the original Medal of Honor and like GoldenEye and all those other great games. So we ended up quote unquote selling it, like a bunch of games, a bunch of controllers for literally $300. What we thought was $300. So I don't know if eBay's been fixed, but back then, my parents told me that we had received the money and that they had paid via PayPal or something like that. And so me being, you know, the desperate little 8-year-old, 9-year-old that it was, I went out and spent the money. Yes, my mom took me down to Costco, and I remember buying the PSP packet. It had 2 games. One was like a futuristic racer game, and the other was Twisted Metal. Oh, yes, if you guys know what I'm talking about, Twisted Metal was awesome back in the day. And so we end up getting home, and a few days later found out this was a fraud. We found out that this guy hadn't paid us, and that it hadn't sold, and it wasn't going to sell, because we were charging way too much for it. Like about $300 back in the day for a PS2, like with just, I mean, it was like a huge bundle, I do admit, but with like a bunch of games, a bunch of controllers and stuff, but it still wasn't worth $300 now that I think back on it. And so we did try to sell that, and no success there. And I ended up having to do chores for like a straight 3 months in order to pay back all the debt for my PSP, which I did end up keeping, but I ended up selling it at a later date. And so yeah, I really hope you guys did enjoy these Dawn Combo Deal stories. Don't forget to click like if you did enjoy. I have a playlist in the description below, a ton of more childhood stories. As you can see, it's episode 17, similar to my first. Don't forget to check those out in the description below as well. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, and have a great day. And remember the fact that I'd have sex with you if we met in person.